thumbs up when I'm there, and then it's almost there. Almost there. Okay, Laura. Hey, how you doing, guys?
I am doing great. I'm so excited about our topic today and stuff. How about you, Deb? Talking about getting away with our friends.
I know I'm excited about it because you know what? I'm thinking that this is going to be something that's going to promote you and I to plan. Okay, so we
Yeah,
used to do this before, remember, but we haven't done it for a while.
we used to have Debbie and I and our friends. We used to have parties. This is before we were married and stuff. And we would plan parties. We would rent out penthouse suites and we would just have a lot of fun. And we were party planners. And then we had our kids. Well, we got married. We all went to each other's weddings. And then we had kids, and then we had our kid get-togethers and stuff. And then, the kids got older and they were in homecoming and all that. We kept in touch, but we have really haven't gotten together. Debbie and I we have, but like getting together with our really close girlfriends. And all our kids are either married or they're getting married, and we have grandchildren now. And it's like, what the heck, man? This is time. We got to get together. And I was looking up something for ideas, and I ran into this and I thought, you know what? Let's fall back into friends. Let's go back to our friends and do a getaway, like a weekend getaway. So
Yep.
Deb and I are going to talk about like different ideas and different steps that you need to plan when, in case anybody doesn't have an idea. But maybe we're going to inspire you to plan one. I know it's going to inspire us to plan one for next year. So with
Totally.
that, Deb, how are you?
I'm doing great, Laura, and I'm loving this fall pumpkin vibe, right? I've been like doing a lot of baking too, which has been great. I've been baking like loaves and breads and stuff, but I'm excited about this too because um the title on part of this says set the scene, create the ultimate cozy atmosphere. And we used to, again, Lori was just saying about how like we used to do a lot of party planning. I mean, you name it, I think we just about did it, right? We did it all different avenues.
Right.
But I hear about these people that do these fun getaways and they have like all these little cool things that they do and they either have a theme and they organize and have it, and it's like, well, why not? I mean, people need to break away from the monotony of craziness, okay? And take time and Lori, take time and smell the roses.
Now the roses, right?
Roses, man, because that's, but seriously, and so, well, why not? And we've said it about 50 million times. It doesn't have to be far. It
No,
doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be effective, right? Like, so we're going to go through some of these things that we're going to talk about. And then I do have a couple crazy little things I can share with you that someone told me that they did. And then Lori and I are also gonna like give you a list of some ideas of some places that we were like looking at. We were like, wow, let's look at it. So with that, Lori, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
okay, well, I don't have my notes in front, but that's okay. I pretty
It
much
don't
know.
matter.
Uh,
Yeah.
First of all, when you're going to plan something like this, you have to think of you have to make a decision. Do you want to do something like just for a day at somebody's house, or do you want to do a weekend? Where we live, we're in the Chicagoland area, and there's two areas that would be great for us to go to, and that is in St. Joe's, Michigan, which is a little about 2 hours away. Beautiful area. Um, Beautiful for the fall. And there's a lot of I call it Vibros. What do you call it? Verbos?
Verbos.
Verbos.
Verbos, Airbnbs or Airbnbs or whatever. Yeah, Verbos, yeah.
If you're gonna do something like a little bit of distance, go one of those things. I was on this morning, and you can rent stuff for like 161, 108 to 200 a night, depending on how big it is and how many people and where you want to go. And the other places, I talked to you briefly about it this morning, Debbie, but it's only because we went there in our early 20s, is Lake Geneva. And we used to go to a bar there, Hogs and Kisses. We'd have to see if it's still there. And just somewhere. But the whole thing about, doing these things is, first of all, you want to get it, you want to set a theme. All right, right, Deb? Isn't that how we did our party? We set a theme. Okay, so if you're gonna do fall, then you do like a fall theme, or if it's in the spring or whatever, the summer thing. But come up with a theme, because I think at our age, we kind of like that. Like, we like candles, and we like decorations, and just to make you feel like you're in the moment. Would you say that would be a great idea, Deb?
Totally, totally. This way you can kind of build from it. Like,
Right, right,
yeah. I mean, maybe you're gonna have, not to sound like silly, but it doesn't have to be a craft project, but it could
right,
be something that you do together. Like, sometimes when you go to these places, let's just say if it's just ladies, right? Maybe there's one of these, like, creative paint stores that you can go to and paint something like wine and sip and paint and stuff, or who knows, that also is an idea. I don't mean to keep going off topic, but if you don't have the ability to go somewhere overnight, you can always create a nice long day of other days to do, for in case people have restrictions on not being able to go. But
right. Along, like, even at a nice picnic area, like
yeah,
we Cantini by our house, which is absolutely beautiful. But what I would suggest to do is make this a group project, okay? Like, have like Debbie and I plan it, or whatever, we're doing it. But also get the other women or the other people involved in it. If you're planning to go away, there's meals that have to be cooked. Okay. Are you going to go out to eat? Are you going to stay in to eat? And so then what you're going to do is you're going to, ask people to like sign up, or say they're going to be in charge of like the breakfast, and then maybe somebody for lunch, and maybe you're going to go out for dinner, or whatever you choose to do. But make this a group thing. You know what's so awesome, Debbie, is we could do all this on Zoom with our friends. Do you know what I mean? We used to have to get together and have our meetings and have this whole thing where we'd have to get together. But now we can just do it on Zoom over a cup of coffee. But
let me can I add in one more thing too, Laura? You
oh,
can also do a shared Google Doc, and
yeah,
then
okay,
let's say you go, oh, I'm gonna do, the Saturday night dinner or whatever, and like and you keep adding to it, so everybody gets it updated, or even a shared notepad on a phone works just as well, because you don't have to have anything too fancy. Actually, it might even be more convenient because everybody's got their phones accessible. But you can do that so that everybody's on point, so we don't double do something. It's awesome.
and you know what? I have another suggestion. I don't know. I didn't see it on anywhere, but it was just a thought I had in my mind. I would start a scrapbook and have everybody take some random pictures and maybe send it to somebody that would be in charge, and actually make a scrapbook. So that if you do this as an annual thing, then the next year you could go back and look at all the fun pictures. And then they could add on.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I gotta add something on to this.
go ahead, jump
So
in there.
this is good. This is good because now I'm starting to get excited. We have to do this.
Right.
So you can also, now this is only for iPhone users, okay? So if you have an iPhone, you can do a shared album. So let's just say we're all taking pictures. We can be part of a shared album and dump them in there. And
Yeah,
then pull from those pictures, and then you make a physical
yeah,
album.
physical one. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be great. And I think that'd be even a great project to do. But also I would even suggest about doing a craft or something, or a project that you could do together, and maybe get some people together, one person or whatever, and let them be in charge of it, getting the stuff and all that kind of, come up with an idea. And it doesn't have to be anything major. It's a matter of that us sitting around with our friends and
Mhm.
doing something and talking about our lives. What have you been doing? I got news for you. It's hard for women to just sit there and talk. We're so used to being doers. We got to be doing stuff with our hands and talking. Am I right, Deb?
Totally. And you know what? You hear of these. I know of a local family where the guys do like fishing trips,
Yeah,
snowmobile trips.
right, right.
that. Okay, I really personally feel like it should be like a wine and dine and maybe some kind of like organized, like you said, thing, but also then maybe a few fun little silly games. It could be some card games, it could be whatever, or who knows, maybe you chuck those and say, forget it. We're talking so much, we just gotta like be up half the night talking.
Right.
Think this is a therapeutic situation.
Oh, I think it's great. And and it doesn't have to be expensive. And if we plan it, like if we're gonna do this for next year, Deb, we'll kind of do a cost factor and everybody could start saving money for it.
Yeah.
And that, and you know what too would be really nice? I just thought about this, Debbie. We could bring daughters along.
It's
Yeah,
true. True.
daughter lives somewhere else, but like, invite like maybe our friend Joan inviting her daughter or our friends whoever have daughters, they might want to. I mean, it's just a thought. It could be a mom and daughter weekend with friends, or just the friends. It's
Well,
you want to do.
I was gonna say we could do the girls and then have another one. I mean, here's the thing. I was just all
Yeah,
these things are motoring through my head. I'm thinking, you said Lake Geneva, which is great, but maybe a blast also from the past and go to the Warren Dunes, you know?
yes,
So
yeah.
we used to go to the dunes, Lori and I, and a bunch of people almost every remember, we'd get up at the crack of dawn on a Sunday morning, start driving there at like 6:37 AM, get there, and we'd spend the whole day, whole day. It was so much fun. Or a Saturday, you know?
Yeah, we
But
could go to Indiana Beach too.
yeah,
Because
that's
those old places, they got the cabins there.
are the cabins still there?
They're nicer, actually. Yeah. There's a lady that owns it that put more cabins there. Yeah, and in the fall would probably be cheaper because they wouldn't, I don't know, the music park will be open, but whatever. These are just thoughts thrown out there, I mean, but again, you have to kind of get together, figure out what you want to do first, where you want to go, kind of think of a budget you want to go into, and then, just work from that. And it could be a really memorable weekend. If we don't do, the daughters, which is fine, we just do us, it's a way for us to get together and talk about our lives. I mean, a lot has happened over the years, especially in my life and your life. Everybody's lives have been kind of crazy. And, talk about our grandchildren and most of us are grandparents now. And just excited about the whole thing would be great. Like you said, we could do maybe wine tasting. What else is there to do?
Can I throw something in real quick? Um,
Jump in anytime, Deb.
Yeah, no, no, this is interesting. So Vanessa's in two weddings, like,
Yeah,
so she just went to Scottsdale a couple weeks ago, and that was a little bit more extravagant of a bachelorette party. Then she also went to Michigan this last week, or not Michigan, I'm sorry, Milwaukee, and they had a blast. But they find like they always have something like Milwaukee, they did a casino, which hey, that would be fun, right? But and you don't have to be a big gambler. I'm certainly not. I'm the quarter machines, man. I go to pull those and it's crazy. They won a ton of money this last weekend. But there's also I was gonna say, like you said, wine tasting where they're organized, where they pick you up and drive you and all that. But also Galena, like shops and stuff. So we maybe would have to put out a survey like
yeah,
we with our when we did our class reunion. Lori put together this amazing survey, and we all talked about it, but she had the brains of like so many different things. What would you like to see? What would you like to have happen? Would you prefer it to be in a place like this? Would you prefer whatever? And then we calculated out all the different options of things we could do. So there's so much we may be starting like an annual or a 6 month thing
right,
for like
exactly.
spring, fall, or summer, fall, because fall with the pumpkins and with the fun stuff, there's just so much,
How about, a place that I always wanted to go was Door County.
Oh, that's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous.
I've been there. So I mean, there's so many options. And you can even find places like sometimes these towns and stuff have these really pretty little restaurants where you could sit and have tea and have, like I you know exactly what I'm talking about, Debbie.
I know
Like,
exactly
that
what you're talking about.
of like old fashioned kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's great. I mean, we could really have a great time with this. I mean, absolutely a great time. I did a weekend with my Bunko girls out in Michigan, and it was so much fun. We went to casino, but we also went to the wine tasting, and we stayed up and played games and stuff too. And years ago, our friend Chris Montalbano, she her and her friend, they did this weekend thing at a retreat place. And what they did is they gave everybody a name of a book ahead of time.
Wow.
And everybody read the book ahead of time. And when they got there, part of the session was that you sat around and talked about the book.
Good idea.
And I mean, there's so much we could do. We can have so much fun with this. I
Totally.
hope you guys are getting excited out there and want to plan this with your
And
friends.
as we are talking as women, okay, again, the men have an option of different, some men like to go hunting, some men do fishing, some do snowmobiling, some do whatever. So you guys can get creative, you men, with your thing, but us ladies, it's about time we put our foot down and say, we got to do this. I
Well,
mean,
you know what? This is how I feel. And I don't know about you women out there or people that are listening out there. Men need to go do things with men and have their time. It
right.
is the most important thing. I think it's great for a marriage, it's great for a relationship. Guys need to do that, you know? And no offense, guys, I love all of you. You're great, but you guys are not planners unless you get somebody in the group that's a planner. But you need to get motivated to do something like that, you know? Because a lot, you know, love you guys, but a lot of guys in this age area or whatever, they just would rather just sit around and just watch TV or do stuff with their wives or whatever. But you know, maybe you can encourage that, you know, to do it. I have a couple friends at church, they go on fishing trips with guys. I think it's great.
Maybe the guys can start off by even just doing a golf outing, go golf one day and just have lunch, and then maybe they'll start to think from it more, and do stuff. I think us women don't have a problem planning anything. We're like, let's hightail it out of here, man. Let's go. And we also don't have a problem coming up with ideas, obviously, because look at how much we've come up with since last night or yesterday when we talked and you were like, this is great. And it's an endless situation, and there's some times where you can pick up some very good deals, like at odd times. We may, within our network of people, know somebody that owns a house, an Airbnb or something. We could get a little bit better deal or whatever, or who knows. So,
Our right
um,
first place, there's some nice ones in Wisconsin.
if we're
Um,
in Michigan, we might be able to get Chris to come.
right, yeah, we are
Meet
friends.
up.
And you know what? If we start planning this now for
Yeah,
next year, we could get this together. I know we were talking about planning a group thing out in Michigan for a weekend with our high school friends, girls and guys, but then COVID hit.
yeah.
So thing went down the wayside. But yeah, we'll just, figure out who wants to go and spread the word out. I have a list in my head. In fact, I'm gonna make sure I send them this video because this will inspire them. But I hope you guys are getting inspired out there. Huh, Deb? You have any other tips that you think?
Well, you know what? There was another thing you had on here because Lori sent me an email that she had of stuff, and I was just wanted to see if we're missing anything. Um, here's another thing. You find a place out of town that might have live music somewhere or a
Yeah,
concert. Okay. That's always an option. But let me pull this up here. It
yeah,
was
great. You know what? You guys look it up and just look up fall events with friends and stuff. You would not believe the stuff that's out there. I was really surprised.
Totally. And I mean, there's other places that are so cool to go, but who knows? Maybe this will be a goal set that we
Yeah,
could do after
right.
something. There's like Savannah, Georgia, there's Florida, there's Asheville, North Carolina, there's Alabama, there's Texas, there's different places, Mississippi, Key West, Florida, different places in South Carolina, Georgia, Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of really cool places, but that does require like, a little bit more money and also planning and you know what, and the family and stuff.
Right.
Maybe after doing a couple girls getaways at a little bit of a smaller thing like this, we might all say, hey, who's up for going somewhere a little farther and doing something one time or here or there, you know? It could be a
Planning.
road trip. It could be a road trip. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
You know
Yeah.
what? Beautiful. I'm sorry, I had to say this is
No, I'm just, uh,
Mackinac Island is just
yeah,
so cool. The
yeah,
only drawback is it's about a 7-hour drive, okay? But
right.
when you get there, it's just the coolest place. Like no cars, all horse and buggy, very historical. But it's got to be like something that somebody ever wants to do, you know? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? You could share a driving,
yeah.
but you could also plan on the way to Mackinac, different stops to go to.
Yeah, there are some stops. And you know what? Michigan is a very clean state. I mean, it used to be.
It's a great state. I love Michigan.
Yeah, it really is. It's a really clean and awesome
You
state.
know, no matter where you're in the United States or even in other countries and you watch our show, there's places by you too. If you guys decide to plan one, let us know what you're doing because we'll put it on our Facebook page. But we're excited about it because we want to see everybody, plan something like this. We're at a point in our lives where our kids are older, we're grandparents. We don't have to worry about homecoming. We don't have to worry about all that stuff. But it's the time to spend together with friends. It's like, we started young with these friends and we were young in our teens and then moving on to the next part of our lives. And I'm not just saying it for people that are our age, but even younger people. You know what I mean? I know Tony gets together with some guy friends and they go somewhere and they have a boat and everything. They do a guys weekend.
Well, these kids, as much as I can knock it, and they're doing these bachelorette and bachelor parties, they got it going on because they're doing some fun stuff, and maybe it'll
Oh,
keep them doing it. I mean, the one that Vanessa was just on before. I mean, they went to Sedona in Arizona, and they saw all these sites, and then they went to a casino, and they went to this, and they went to that, and it just was like they had a blast. They had a blast, you know.
yeah, why didn't we do that kind of stuff for bachelorette parties?
Well, I think we were a little bit more economical. I mean, definitely.
We were younger too. A lot of these
Uh,
people didn't
But
later in life. We were in our
right,
early, you know.
right. We went to a couple establishments. I will not name the names, but
Yeah.
we went to establishments that I don't think our kids would ever set their foot in, and we did, and it was a riot. But yeah, we got some. Those are the things that we'll talk about on our weekend because
Right.
we
Right.
will like go back in time and we've done some goofy things. I'm gonna tell you. We remember we had that hayride that we went on that one time. And
Yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing, guys. It doesn't, you could start off by this, okay? I remember one of the funnest things, Lori, all the high school reunions that we had planned was the time that we got together and had our planning meetings, okay?
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
so
Right.
planning meetings to plan this weekend that we're gonna do is part of the whole experience because when we plan, we always get together and we get off topic and we bring up things we used to do, right? Or what's going on. So,
Right.
you know,
So I mean, this is something exciting. I think that you guys out there start thinking about stuff, even if it's just two or three of you guys. Doesn't have to be a lot of people. It can just even be two friends. Just getting together. And like I said, it's another part of our lives and we're moving to the next stage of our lives and stuff. There was a movie out, I can't think of the name of it. And it was like, you got together every year or every couple of years and how your lives had changed. A lot of them are the same. And it's great. It's absolutely great.
I
And
do have one more thing to add. Okay. And I think that everybody needs to do this, irregardless if you do a weekend or not. I encourage you to go through your phone and in your back of your head and think about all the people that you haven't talked to for a while and take some time out. Now, first, it might be a Facebook message to them, it might be a messenger message, it could be a phone call or a text and say, hey, how you been? Love to catch up and talk.
yeah,
And then make sure you do it on your phone. Okay, don't like, sure, you could text back in small talk, but say, when's a good time to call?
Yeah,
Maybe you had a falling out with somebody, maybe you just got disconnected, and maybe you're
right,
thinking that they're thinking something and they're not thinking that. Maybe they're wishing you would call them or whatever, but make this also be a time to circle around and get with people because you don't know what those people are going through. What if that person really needs a new to get
right,
needs friendship or needs we talked so much about this over COVID, Lori. Remember we were this is one of our
right,
this is one of the biggest reasons that we actually created this platform.
right, exactly.
This stuff.
Because of COVID and we wanted people to stay positive at home. And it's
Exactly.
so important. And yeah, you don't know what other people are going through. You know, everyone, life is shorter than you think it is. And I think we have to go back to a lot of basics in our lives.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
I think that's what's missing. And you know, families are not like they used to be. Now,
Right.
Debbie's got a super good family. I always say that because they do a lot of things together, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But you know, creating memories is always something that is so important. And you know, I know it's hard a lot with a lot of families because they move out of state and stuff like that. But like I said, you got Zoom here. You can do a family Zoom, you know, and just talk and
Right.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh, totally. And
yeah,
there's no reason you can't do that. I remember we would do Zooms with a couple other friends of my husband's that are we're all friends together. And Lori, you know them, the Cyzocs, we would get on Zoom and just like act like we'd pour a glass of wine and we would say, hey, what's going on, you guys? Because we had to have it's physical connection of communicating with other people that are in your like your ages or whatever. I mean, they could be younger and older, but I'm just saying you need that. And too many people are not they're so darn busy and so caught up in everything that they're doing that they're not taking time again, like we said, to smell the roses, right?
you have to. You know, I mean, Debbie and I are always overachievers and stuff. I am not like I used to, but I want to be back like that. But the thing is, we really need to stop and talk to our friends and our loved ones. It is so important. You know, life is short, and what's going on in this world right now, I don't want to get into it because it's so
Yeah.
depressing. But
Mhm.
we do have to stay positive, you
Right.
know.
And
So
if I can piggyback on top of that for 1 second without saying anything too much, but people are very uneasy and stressed right now. So what a better time to reach out and actually like really, really just hit it, whether
right,
it's the phone calls, whether it's the talking, whether it's getting together, meeting up with people or whatever, but plan it. You know what? Lori and I've always realized that we both had to be planners because if we didn't do it, maybe somebody wouldn't take the ball by the whatever horn or whatever that phrase is. And I say it to my one daughter, Vanessa, who's a school teacher. A lot of times she'll be like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm planning a lot. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? If you don't, you enjoy getting together with the people, so like if you have to be the planner, so be it. Just do it.
yeah,
You'll be happy too.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So with that, Laura, we're probably at that time frame. Do you want to close this out or do you have anything else
Hey,
you want to say?
sure. No, I just want to say let's get this going here. You know what? Fall back on your friendships, okay? All right. With that, I want to say you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. And enjoy your family and friends. With that, I'm gonna say I'm Lori,
I'm Debbie.
and we're friends helping friends. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.